Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the market wrap for Monday, the 16th of March. And look, today, the Aussie market extended its declines to a third straight session. But look, today, we were only down by almost 0.5%, but still extended last week's 2.6% decline. This is, of course, as investors continue to monitor developments in the Middle East, which have entered its third week. On top of that, it's also a big week of central bank meetings with around 6 or 7 central banks around the world handing down interest rate decisions over the course of this week. And investors, of course, are very cautious ahead of the RBA's interest rate meeting tomorrow afternoon. More on that soon. But look, across the different sectors today, it was fairly mixed. We saw the materials sector just continuing to weigh on the broader market. The sector was down over 2%, dragged by some of the mining giants and also gold producers, which were under pressure amid falling gold prices on the back of a stronger US dollar and also inflationary concerns. Energy, though, was one of the bright spots, with oil prices sitting at around $105 a barrel, almost 50% higher so far this month. You can see consumer staples did best today with a lift of 0.8%. Tech, on the other hand, was down by around 1.5%. So very much a mixed bag across the different sectors, and we should point out financials as well, up by 0.4% ahead of the RBA's meeting tomorrow, which could potentially see the RBA hiking rates after the February hike as well. So more on that soon. But in terms of the winners today, of course, energy stocks continue to benefit from higher oil prices. We saw Woodside, Santos, Karoon Energy all among some of the top performers today. Plumbing company Reliance Worldwide actually topped the winners list today after it announced a further $120 million on-market share buyback to return excess capital to shareholders. So its shares up around 7% today. Perpetual agreed to sell its wealth management business to Bain Capital for an upfront amount of $500 million, but also the potential for additional performance-based payments later on. And Immutep, which was down a whopping 90% on Friday after it had to discontinue its lung cancer drug trial because the early data didn't look strong enough, and that really indicated that it's unlikely to be effective. But look, we did see its share price bouncing back today after that 90% drop on Friday. Today up by around 35%. Now, on the losers list, diversified miner Aperian X plunged by over 20% today, and that's really extending last week's 24% drop after its half-year loss doubled from the same time last year due to significant expansion costs. Today, the company actually responded to an ASX price query clarifying how the company funds its US Department of War grants after receiving queries from several stakeholders. The company noted it first spends on project activities and is later reimbursed by the US government, but that clarification didn't seem to impress investors at all, with its share price falling once again today. Northern Star also fell for a second straight session. It was down almost 20% on Friday after downgrading its full year guidance for a second time, citing ongoing operational challenges, and today it received a couple of target price cuts on the back of that. So its share price down by around 5.5%, also weighed down by falling gold prices. Capricorn Metals also among the stocks being hit by lower gold prices, but it also traded ex-dividend today. Its shares down around 4%, and BHP extended losses to a third day. It's now fallen around 16% so far this month, but of course from its record high that it hit around the beginning of this month. Now, the Aussie dollar has improved just slightly. It's sitting around 70.1 US cents, firmer against the euro, but weaker against the Japanese yen. Now, tomorrow is going to be an absolutely huge day for us here in Australia. Of course, we have the RBA handing down their interest rate meeting 2:30 p.m. Sydney time. The expectation is widely for the RBA to hike rates after February's meeting as well, when they hiked for the first time in over 2 years, because inflation seems to continue to be a concern, particularly with the oil price shock that we've seen recently due to the conflict in the Middle East. So at the moment, markets reckon there's about a 70% chance that the RBA will hike. I guess there is a case for both sides potentially holding rates and potentially hiking rates at tomorrow's meeting. So that's going to be very important. We'll have to wait and see what they do decide to do. But an hour after that decision is handed down, Michelle Bullock will speak at a conference, and we hopefully will get a little bit more insight into the decision the RBA has made and potentially what could be ahead for interest rates, because there's many top banks that are predicting that potentially we could get a third rate hike in May as well. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. It's an absolutely huge day tomorrow. Have a nice night.